Go find a mirror right now. Open wide. Stick your tongue out. Does it look pink and relatively smooth? Or do you see a thick coating, deep cracks, or scalloped edges along the sides? Most people brush their teeth and ignore the rest, but the tongue often reflects what's happening inside the body. When it changes texture or color, it can signal stress, imbalance, or inflammation, starting with the gut, but sometimes involving much more. I'm Dr. Foxy. I break down oral health patterns and what they commonly connect to inside the body. Today, I'm going to help you decode 5 specific tongue changes, moving from very common warning signs to more serious red flags. Let's start with the one most people have at some point, the white coating. If you're seeing a thick, white, patchy layer that doesn't rinse away, think of this as your body's check engine light. This usually isn't about brushing better or bad breath. A persistent white coating is commonly linked to an imbalance in the oral and gut microbiome, especially yeast overgrowth. We all have yeast in the mouth, but stress, antibiotics, dehydration, and high sugar intake can let it take over. Now, yes, physically removing it helps. A tongue scraper is more effective than a toothbrush, and using it daily can reduce buildup. But if the coating keeps coming back, scraping alone won't fix the root issue. That's when reducing sugar, supporting gut health, and paying attention to digestion usually makes the biggest difference. Next up, number 2, stick your tongue out again, but this time look at the sides, the lateral borders. Do they look smooth and straight, or are they wavy and rippled, almost like the crimped edge of a pie crust? This is called a scalloped tongue, and here's the reality check. Those ripples didn't just form naturally. They're pressure marks left behind by your teeth. That means your tongue is pressing outward against your dental arch for long periods of time. And usually it does that because it's running out of room. This pattern is commonly linked to airway and sleep-related stress. When the airway is narrow or restricted during sleep, the body often compensates by pushing the tongue forward or outward to help keep the throat open so breathing stays easier. You might think you're sleeping fine, but scalloping can show up when the body may be struggling to keep the airway open during sleep, even if you're not consciously aware of it. This becomes more significant when the tongue pattern shows up alongside other symptoms, like waking up tired despite enough hours of sleep, dry mouth in the morning, headaches, jaw soreness, snoring, or daytime fatigue. When multiple signs line up, the likelihood that something deeper is going on goes way up. Scalloping can also appear in people under high stress who clench or grind their teeth, forcing the tongue outward over time. Either way, this isn't just a cosmetic mouth issue. If you're noticing these ripples, and you're also experiencing any of those symptoms, don't ignore it. This is your cue to look beyond the mouth, whether that means talking to your doctor about sleep quality or working with your dentist on clenching, grinding, or airway support. This is a pressure and breathing pattern worth paying attention to. Moving on to number 3. This one is all about color. Look at the tip and the body of your tongue. A healthy tongue should be a pale, coral pink, but if yours looks bright red, inflamed, and bumpy, almost like the surface of a strawberry or a raspberry, that's a specific distress signal. This appearance is often linked to glossitis, which simply means inflammation of the tongue. And the reason this happens usually comes down to what the body is missing or fighting. The tongue has one of the highest cell turnover rates in the body, meaning it regenerates very quickly. Because of that, when levels of vitamin B12 or folate are low, or when the body is under systemic inflammatory stress, the tongue is often one of the first places to show it. The surface can't rebuild properly, so it becomes red, raw, and more sensitive than normal. Strawberry tongue can also appear during inflammatory or infectious states, which is why it's sometimes seen alongside symptoms like fever, sore throat, mouth soreness, or a general feeling of being unwell. This becomes more meaningful when the tongue change shows up with other signs, such as burning sensations in the mouth, frequent ulcers, fatigue, or brain fog. When those patterns line up, it's a sign the body may be struggling to maintain healthy tissue. The fix here isn't brushing harder or scraping more. If a strawberry red tongue keeps showing up, the next step is to look beyond the mouth. That often means evaluating diet quality, absorption, and overall health with a medical provider, rather than guessing with supplements. When the tongue looks inflamed and raw, it's often telling you that your body is missing key building blocks or dealing with ongoing inflammation. Number 4 is the one that sends people straight to Google in a total panic: black hairy tongue. If you look in the mirror and the center of your tongue looks dark, yellow, brown, or even black, and it appears fuzzy, almost like it's growing a beard, don't freak out. Here's the reality check. That isn't hair. Those are your filiform papillae, the tiny finger-like projections that normally cover the tongue. Under healthy conditions, they shed and renew themselves regularly. But sometimes they don't shed. They just keep growing longer, trapping food, bacteria, and yeast like a shag carpet. So what is this telling you? It's a sign of stagnation in the oral environment. This happens when the tongue's natural self-cleaning process slows down. It's commonly seen after a round of antibiotics that disrupts normal bacteria, in people who smoke, or in those who eat mostly soft foods that don't provide enough natural abrasion to clean the tongue. Essentially, the surface of the tongue stops exfoliating the way it should. The good news is that this one is usually very fixable. The solution here is mechanical. You need to help the tongue shed that buildup. Using a tongue scraper regularly is key, and doing it gently but consistently makes a big difference. Adding more texture back into your diet also helps. Crunchy, fibrous foods like apples act as a natural scrub brush for the tongue. Restore movement, texture, and cleaning to the surface, and in most cases, the hair disappears. And finally, number 5. This one runs right down the middle. Stick your tongue out and look for a long, deep line or canyon running straight down the center. I'm not talking about tiny surface texture. Everyone has that. I mean a clear, defined fissure that almost looks like the tongue is splitting into 2 halves. A deep central crack like this often reflects long-term stress on the tissues of the tongue. When the tongue looks dry and fissured, it's commonly linked to chronic dehydration, reduced saliva flow, or ongoing digestive stress, including acid reflux. Saliva plays a major role in keeping oral tissues healthy and flexible. When that system is compromised over time, tissues can lose their plumpness and begin to crack. This pattern becomes more meaningful when the fissure shows up alongside symptoms like bloating, heartburn, or a heavy feeling after meals. When those signs line up, the tongue and the digestive system are often telling the same story. The first fix here is hydration, and that's non-negotiable. Chronic dehydration shows up in the tongue faster than almost anywhere else, but hydration alone isn't always enough. If you notice that the crack becomes deeper, redder, or more irritated when your stomach symptoms flare, that's a pattern worth paying attention to. At that point, this isn't just a cosmetic tongue feature, it's information you should bring to your doctor or a GI specialist. Your tongue isn't just cracked, it's showing you where your body has been under stress. So be honest with me. When you looked in the mirror, which of these patterns did you notice? Was it the white coating, the scalloped edges, the strawberry red look, or one of the other patterns we talked about? Let me know in the comments what your tongue is looking like today. And if you enjoyed playing detective with your own health, make sure you subscribe. In the next video, we're decoding exactly what your breath is trying to tell you. And trust me, it's not just about what you ate for lunch. I'm Dr. Foxy. Keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.